I'm not speaking for any authority of government. As a matter of fact, I'm also in none of the security apparatus that really this borders on. But just as a Nigerian and as a citizen of this Commonwealth of Nigeria, I aired my own personal opinion this morning, and that is this. Policing in every part of the world, any and every part of the world, is basically to secure lives and property. It is to protect us. It is to protect, every citizen, and above all, to maintain law and order. It is never for any form of brutalization of any sort, any form of dehumanization of any sort. Absolutely none. So it means, therefore, if we understand, therefore, what the meaning of policing is, then we should have no problem whatsoever condemning what the SARS brutality has been. And that's what I've done in very strong terms this morning. I also do know that Mr. President, Vice President, and many others have actually condemned and continue to condemn even up until last night. However, I think what is missing is this. The clamor for the people. It's about saying, listen, yes, we want a reform, but you must end this impunity. And I think we need to, we in government must learn the art of listening. And besides that, even every one of us, one of the things I learned very early in life was that listening was a course that you were never taught in school. Even when you take communications courses, they are teaching you how to read, how to write, how to do everything else. But listening is something most people just assume that we all know. And so I think when we begin to talk about, governance and, new levels of new ethos of governance, I think listening is one of it. And that's perhaps what we must espouse. I mean, coming out, because first and foremost, and like I also tweeted again today, why should there even be any SARS police on the street when there is even an existing ban on you, which of course the agitation has been that there have been series of this. So what does it tell you? It's impunity. The Inspector General of Police in his office in Abuja believes that he has put a ban to say, guys, restrict yourselves to your office, to your station, or to your zone, wherever you are. You have no business on the street while we carry out the process of reform. But what do we see? We still see continuous attacks. That's one. So secondly as well, again, we should also, just from watching and monitoring what has been shown, and remember that I've also come to know that not everything you see on social media is true. There's a whole lot of fake news, so I'm very, very careful, to decipher. But in some that I saw, and I saw one very interesting one, I think it was the protest in Ikorodu, how when they were moving on peacefully on the street, one officer was already in front of them and about to talk. And I was glad I was another officer, obviously a senior officer, that dragged him off the road, and the video captured it. Because the whole point again is, right to speak, right to protest peacefully, it's a fundamental human right. And every law enforcement officer or agent must know that as part of his 101 principles of training. So clearly that was what that superior officer demonstrated by pulling his other colleague with a rifle off the road. And the question is, what have these guys done? We are all here standing in front of our barracks, because apparently that protest was going past a barracks. We're all here standing in front of our barracks. They have not abused us. They have not molested. They have not thrown anything at us. They are just chanting what they want. So why are you now going in front? What were you trying to do? And so again, the process of reform is going to take time, because part of reform is training, retraining, retooling. First and foremost, just like I also said in my tweets earlier today, we all need to sit down and define what is policing for each and every one of us. Because there's been a lot of talks, not new talks, about this centralized policing. Would it really work? Has it outlived its usefulness? What has happened to decentralized policing? So these are all the I believe the conversations that must happen, which of course is not going to happen overnight. But I also believe that if the people to which we in government have been elected or appointed to serve, if the people that have entrusted their power, to those of us who are in government and governance by the process of an electoral vote, if they are saying, please, we don't want all these bans that don't have any effect. We don't want all these bans that mean well from the top but never get cascaded down to the street. What we want is it's a very clear end of impunity. I think we should listen to them first and then continue conversations from there. And let me end this point by saying as well that again, you also now see that the world indeed is a global village. There is nothing that we're going through that is immune to us, and so also there's nothing going through, because again, this just suddenly brings to pass what happened a few months ago, Black Lives Matter, and indeed All Lives Matter, that has happened, the various protests have happened in different parts of the United States, and we have also seen how in some way degenerated, in some way they have been calmed down, and it all starts by leadership and what leadership does. So it begins really because the coronavirus in itself has already shown all of us that the world is much a smaller village than we all think it is. And whatever it is we do in any part of our community soon affects every part of the global sphere.
Yeah. Okay.